Thank you, Studio Bind, for giving us like if you were doing a manga adaptation, that's a fire, right? But they're doing a light novel adaptation at this point. They are going to the source of the source material. Hey guys, so this is a clip from our podcast, drops every Tuesday. We're going to leave it linked up top. So check out that content and don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe. Thanks, guys. What did you make of this week's episode? Actually, forget that. Before you say anything, I told you so. I said that there would be a Ghislaine connection with the Doldia tribe. I said it. I said this would be a perfect opportunity. I said like 2 weeks ago. So I'm happy that I'm vindicated. You probably knew that and weren't telling me, right? Because you're a manga reader.
Well, I got a double surprise for you today. This was all stuff that wasn't in the manga. This was all light novel stuff. This was all stuff that was skipped.
Oh, okay.
So like the whoever in the comment section from last episode, they already knew this. They're the ones that already knew this was coming. These light novel readers, they know where it's at. Because I was like, I don't remember any of this. I'm like, it hasn't been that long since I read the series. I'm like, let me check. And I started rereading the manga at that point. And I'm like, they just completely skip after he stops the. What happened last episode? It stopped at there, and then it just went right to the end of the episode.
Yeah, when they stop all the smugglers and all that, like it just.
So in the manga, they stopped the smugglers, and then they were off on the carriage. That's how it was in the manga. So the whole episode was just like all like this is like Christmas. This is all new Mushoku Tensei content for me here.
Well, we've been saying this since the beginning, but let's just say it for the 100th time because it needs to be said. Thank you, Studio Bind, for giving us like if you were doing a manga adaptation, that's a fire, right? But they're doing a light novel adaptation at this point. They are going to the source of the source material. So what a treat it is to have Mushoku Tensei every week. And as an anime only, I'm having a lot of fun with this. But I told you there'd be a Ghislaine connection. How could there not be? That's like from a story creator mindset. Like that's just an obvious, even if it's an Easter egg, that's just an obvious little something that you could sprinkle in there. But yeah, so this is like the Doldia episode, right? We get to see them. Now Rudeus is not trapped in this village. Now he's living there, sort of a part of the village. And yeah, so what did you think of the episode? We've been talking about the surprise, but what did you actually think of it?
Yeah, I really loved it because but like some characters you meet way later on, it's like, oh, we were from the village, and it's like, who are you? But now with all this new context from whatever the light novel that was skipped in the manga, like it's like, oh, so that's who you were like way long ago, and all that kind of stuff. And like it's like, okay, now I'm seeing some more stuff from because like they talk about the village sometimes. It's like, okay, I don't really remember some of this stuff, but then now it's like this is like, oh, okay, I like this. This is like they're actually going, oh, Ghislaine. It's like, oh, what happened? Like why did she leave? It's like, oh, okay, now we're getting
We get backstory on Ghislaine. I've been waiting for this shit, man. I've been waiting for it
too. Now
you got it. Studio Bind is killing it. So yeah, let's talk about it. So the little girls, Tona and Tersena, they kind of are hanging around Eris. Eris trains, I think it was Tona, right? And she kind of gets pissed off, and Eris is like, yeah, we're going to leave. And they like fight a little bit. But it was still a cute moment. They made up. It doesn't seem like this episode's going to be very relevant to the grander theme of the show, but it's a nice one-off. You know what I mean? It's a nice one-off. We get to see Ghislaine's older brother, right? So we found out that connection, and yeah, at the end we get a very quick battle or training between a sword fight between Eris and Gaius, I think his name is. So that was cool to see. And then Rudeus' cellmate hops on the wagon with them. That was funny. Mm-hmm. So even though it was a slower episode, there's still some good takeaways here. And two big takeaways that I want to talk about, some huge foreshadowing. First is a line that stood out to me when they were talking about the sacred beast, right? That big ass fluffy white dog that keeps showing up, right? I mean, we've had him the last like 3 episodes. So one of the beast people was talking, and she said, the sacred beast always appears when the world is in peril, and when it reaches maturity, it will journey with a hero. So I'm an anime only, so I don't know what that means, but That's cool. That's some cool foreshadowing there, whatever that means. But we'll probably see it in the future. And then we have, yeah, like right at the end there, foreshadowing of the Millis continent that they're going to, and or the Millis country, and the seven great powers. So that wouldn't be mentioned if they're not going to play some role. I assume our heroes will meet some of the powers, or whatever. So yeah, like I wouldn't say this was like a five. Like every episode this season has been like 5 out of 5, right? This was probably like a 4 out of 5, but still great, still phenomenal stuff. A little bit of a slower episode, but
So much
it's given the
content.
story room. Yeah, like not as much content rammed down your throat, but it gives the story a little bit more room to breathe. You know what I mean? Which is fine because we've been going really fast paced these last 3 episodes. So this was a nice little breather and a nice little transition into heading into Millis.
Mhm.
So yeah. Anything you want to
Yeah,
add?
I just really liked the because it's been a little while since I read it, so like hearing all these like kind of like things already been foreshadowed a long time ago. It's like, oh, okay, so like it's like I feel like there was no like wasted scene that isn't relevant. Like I feel like there's never a non-relevant scene to this series in a good way. It's like it's either like character
Okay.
development or it's like foreshadowing or it's like just knowledge. Like I feel like there's no way they can. There's no like random scene where something just doesn't happens and there's no consequence or whatever. It's like whenever someone does something, it's either a character development with like Eris with those girls and all that kind of stuff. It's like, oh, okay, we're learning about Kashlane's backstory. We're hearing about the fox. It's like,
Yep.
oh, these all these little threads that maybe we'll see in the future. Or now we already know about that character, so whenever we see them, we already kind of know them a little bit. It's like, okay, this is nice. It's just something you will definitely appreciate in the future because we already got the context a bit.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's like you're not going to meet all these new characters and be like, where do they come from? It's like, oh, let me introduce my whole backstory. It's like, no, we already know your backstory. Let's just get right into the good stuff.
The worst thing a story could do is show you irrelevant stuff, right? So if what you're saying is true and you're the manga reader here, so you would know if everything so far has been really relevant to the story, good character stuff, good foreshadowing stuff we're going to see later on, then yeah, I mean the storytelling is on point as always with Mushoku Tensei, and I would say not so far probably the weakest of the four, but still it's giving the story room to breathe. Totally fine with
Yeah.
me, and yeah, when you get to the end of an episode like this, you're just excited for where the story goes. We have a new member on crew. They're going to a new country. We got these powers they're talking about. It's just,
Set
I
up.
can't wait to see where the story goes, man. Good setup. Fantastic, fantastic setup. So yeah, as always, guys and gals, the weebs out there, if you're watching Mushoku Tensei like we are, and we hope you are, leave a comment down below. We'd love to hear what your guys' thoughts are on this week. Let's talk every week about Mushoku Tensei,
Yep.
where we're at with the story. We're really, really digging it. So
And
yeah,
also the
can't
thanks
wait
to those
for
people in the
Mushoku
comments from
Tensei.
last episode. They were kind of like, I was like, like, oh, you should read the light novels. And I'm like, yeah, there probably is some small details maybe. And I'm like, but this episode's like, it looks like us manga readers were missing some good stuff here. So much
Yep.
thanks to those last episode and good stuff.
Well, much thanks. Shout out to the guy that vindicated me when I said that this was the third opening. By the way, shout out to you, my man. Appreciate that. You owe me lunch, Germ.